Okay, so far we've talked about the first element of art, which is line, and now I want to talk about the second element of art, which is value. So value is the lightness or darkness of a color. So um, if you look at this over here, the sphere, there's all different values of gray. There's dark black, there's dark gray, there's medium gray, light gray, and there's white. So it's from the very darkest black all the way to the lightest light. So in this example, this is just showing you the values in black and white form. So it's kind of like when you draw you're with a pencil, it's like you're changing something into a black and white photo, right? So the values are still there. Like the apple is still darker than the white sheet it's on. So, but you're not using red, so you're using dark gray. Okay? So here is a picture, it's all blue. So the values of blue go from like this dark blue to a medium blue to this light blue. Okay. So the value is the lightness or darkness of a color. Okay. So these drawings don't have any values. It's just line drawings. So they look really flat, right? They don't look very realistic. However, when you add value to a drawing, now it becomes more three-dimensional. And what do I mean by that? Well, this picture here, it looks like you could walk into the picture, right? It looks like this is a corner of a room and there's a bed here. Okay, there's a blanket, it's got wrinkles. So the artist shaded in all these different values to make it look realistic. So, same with this one to the right. Because of the shadows, the pictures, because the artist drew the shadows, the picture becomes more realistic. So, if it weren't for light, we wouldn't see anything at all, right? If it weren't for shadows, things would always look flat or two-dimensional. To make our drawings look as realistic as possible or three-dimensional, we need to recognize that an object's shadows really define the shape of an object. Artists translate shadow into values, different tones ranging from the blackest black to the whitest white, along with all the shades of gray in between. These simple tones add life to your drawings. Okay, so this is an interesting picture because the drawing, it doesn't have any outlines. The artist just drew the shadows. Okay, so there's shadows here, there's a big shadow on the table, there's shadows in the handle. So you can't really see the outline of the mug, but it looks like they just drew the mug by drawing the shadows themselves. So this is the color blue. And a value scale shows many different values of one color. You can think of values like shades. For instance, the color blue has many shades. There are dark shades like navy blue, medium shades like royal blue, and light shades such as baby blue. Here are some techniques artists use to create different values. So there's all different ways you can create different values. So you can use hatching, which is just drawing parallel lines. Okay, they can go horizontal, they can go diagonal, they can go vertical, as long as they're parallel and they're all going in the same direction. So that's hatching. The next one is cross hatching, using two sets of lines. And then the last one is stippling, and that's when you use dots to show different values. So we're just going to focus on smudging and hatching. So we're going to make two different value scales, and you can do this in your sketchbook if you have one, or if you don't, then you can just do this on a scrap piece of paper. So you're going to make two different value scales. The first one, you're going to go from dark all the way to white, and you're going to smudge it. Okay, so you're going to use your finger to smudge, or you can use a paper towel to smudge. The second one is hatching, where you're just drawing lines. Okay, so you're not smudging anything. You have the most lines on the darkest square, and then the least amount of lines on the lightest square. So this is how big your value scales are going to be. So they're going to be 5 rectangles, or I put squares, but they're actually rectangles. Don't tell your math teachers. Okay, so the first one you're going to do is smudged, and the second one you're going to do is hatching. Okay, so let's just focus on the smudged one. So there is a video on how to get started. So all you have to do is click here. This is slide 18, and there is a link to the video. So watch the video and create your value scale.